basically I started this, um, the Lord was guiding me through some healing within my own personal life. And someone actually sent me a prayer from Reverend Annie's website, which, and I just read it through. It was really great. Trauma. The Lord was healing me through trauma. There was some trauma within my own like body that I was holding, and which I never knew those things. So there was a trauma prayer that someone sent me, and on the bottom it said, Reverend Ani, and then I just kind of kept it, and then I felt like the Lord was guiding me through a time of being poured into. So I went ahead and I checked it out. It was a 6-month program, and I was like, oh, let me see when it comes in. And I was pregnant, and I was hoping it wasn't gonna lie anywhere when I was gonna have the babies. And sure enough, I found out that I was gonna be pregnant, plus I was gonna have the kids at the same time. So I decided to discard that and not do it. I received a message from the team letting me know. And then I just kind of prayed through it. And I feel like it was fear of just going through that. I don't know what I was so fearful about. But then in the middle of all the program or the course, I realized why the fear. And it was the fear of that I couldn't complete it, that I couldn't finish, that I was gonna do I don't know, that I wasn't gonna do my best. Like I had these expectations upon myself that no one placed upon me. But the Lord was so gracious to me, and he told me to do it. So I did it. I was so eager every time I would come to class. I was so eager. And I stayed in that posture of heart of just knowing that God was going to pour into me just something new. I had been in ministry of deliverance for a few years, but it was different for me this time because I was being poured into. So I just also knew how much I was leaning on the Holy Spirit on many things that I was doing before. And I think Reverend Ani had put some kind of well, what this course was for me is that it just placed a lot of things in order in my life, and there was a lot of confirmations on things that I pondered about. So it was great for me as I had the twins. I think I only missed I had them on November 7th. Reverend Annie had extended time of prayer in November 7th. I don't have that recording, but I'm sure it's there. And it was on a Saturday. That's when class happened. And there was a word from the Lord through Reverend Annie. And sure enough, that night, I ended up having the twins. Yeah. And I missed only that following Saturday. The words was something about the gates of life, and how the twins were going to be so different. And it was because my twins are actually identical twins. And the Lord needed to confirm my heart that my twins were going to be different. And sure enough, Reverend Ani gave me that word, and the gates of life, which for me that represented the birth of the children. And she protected the gates of life, and she just protection upon that. And sure enough, that night I had the twins. I had them at home with 2 midwives. I had them in 4.5 hours, 17 minutes apart. And it was such a sweet time. There was no problem. Perfect. I missed that following Saturday, but other than that, I don't think I missed any classes because I was always very eager to hear what the Lord had. I also learned that through through like the tension of being a mom again and having classes, like this tension was building up of how am I going to do this? The homework was getting too much. I felt like a release of going back to the focus of just honoring what the Lord had given me to do, which was to do this class, this course, to be obedient and go back into obedience, which then releases any tension and gives me grace again. And just say, this is what you wanted me to do. I'm being obedient. Everything else, let it fall. And I continued, because there was times after I had the twins that I was going to just quit. And I just felt like the Lord right back gave me grace and covered me onto that. And then I finished the courses, and I was just so thankful. And I was like, for a while, every Saturday, I just didn't know what to do anymore, because it felt like every Saturday I had something to do with my classes. And right after, I would just get to do my homework, because homework can just pile up. And every Saturday I would print it out. And in the middle of all that, we were also plowing for California, and we were building tents. And I was in charge of a region. I was 8 months pregnant, and I determined myself not to lose any class time. And I felt that the Lord, well, I didn't feel, he did, gave me a word. And he says, if you build my home, I will build yours. And I continue to plow for California, to take over a region, and to continue with my obedience in my courses. And I knew that I was going to be poured into that day, at least for the time that I was in the class. I'm grateful for Ms. Donna, for Ms. Cynthia, that were in our classes as leaders, for their hearts, their pouring out, their timely word that they had for me at times, for just the people that this ministry has placed as leaders. They have been kind, and I have felt that the times in our small groups have been very safe and secure. I didn't feel any walls were broken of confidentiality. I always felt safe. So thank you guys. Thank you for this ministry.